Good Monday morning, everybody. Schuyler Callihan here on Between the Ears. A new week here on the show. Again, we're going to do this every day, Monday through Friday, throughout the off season, and each and every day we'll come at you with some WVU football, basketball, recruiting news, anything in between. Today, we're actually going to jump over to the basketball side of things. We spent the last 3 or 4 shows really kind of hammering in on the transfer portal, what West Virginia football is doing. But today, we're going to talk RaeQuan Battle. As you know, this is not new news, but on Friday, RaeQuan Battle and his attorneys filed a federal lawsuit against the NCAA over his eligibility or lack thereof. And this is, in my opinion, I think this is good news for West Virginia and for Battle. Anytime the NCAA is being dragged into the courts, that's somewhere they don't want to be. They know that at that point, it's just better off to let the kid or the school or whatever the case may be to kind of have their way, for lack of better terms. North Carolina did this similar gesture back in the fall with Tez Walker, the wide receiver transfer, didn't play at the start of the season. Carolina was very vocal about it, very openly shared their frustrations and threatened a lawsuit. And boy, wouldn't you know, as soon as that lawsuit was threatened, the NCAA just out of nowhere just found this brand new information that they were like, okay, yeah, we feel comfortable enough to allow Tez Walker to play now. Now, what could happen in that short time frame from the time that they threatened the lawsuit to the time that they let Tez play? I don't know. I don't know how much more information you can find out. West Virginia has been just about as strong in their pursuit of this, as has RaeQuan Battle. He has said multiple times he's not going out without a fight. And back in the fall, there was a lot of people around college sports that were really kind of curious to see what would happen with Tez Walker in Carolina, because that was really kind of a unique situation. You don't really see that type of open frustration from a school, a coach, in regards to a player being ineligible. Didn't really know what would happen, but we kind of did. They were going to give him the eligibility, again, because they don't want to go through the court process. Once they go there, they know they're defeated. They can't stand to win an argument or a case in those court systems. When it's in their court, they can control everything. That's what they like. That's where they want this thing to stay. But the moment it gets out of their hands and it goes to the legal system, you know, the one that everyone operates under, they're not going to win those battles. They're undefeated in their own court, not so much in the other. So I think this is good news for West Virginia. I don't want to sit here and say it's going to be a definite that he plays this season for the Mountaineers. I don't want to say anything of that certainty, but I think the optimism should be there for Mountaineer fans. I really do, because again, the NCAA has no chance if this, as long as this process doesn't drag on. I think at some point we're going to get the result back that yes, Battle should be deemed eligible. And with all of the overwhelming mountains of evidence that RaeQuan has in its favor, how could any court or judge or any decision maker go against RaeQuan Battle in this situation? They can't. That's why the NCAA was fearful of this happening. They're fearful of any of these situations going to the court. They can't win them. They want to have total and complete control of everything under their umbrella. But the reality of it is they can't. This is absurd that the NCAA will grant guys 6th and 7th and maybe even 8th years of eligibility. But for a kid that lost his coach at Montana State, goes in the portal. He can't follow his coach because he's already transferred once. So if you transfer once, you use your one-time transfer, you have to sit out the second time, unless you follow the coach that went to a new job. He could not transfer to that school that his coach went to due to the timeline for his graduation. They didn't accept all the credits, I believe, and that would have set his graduation date back. So to be able to graduate on time, to be able to play basketball and hopefully get into the next level of his career, he had to go somewhere else. He finds West Virginia, talks about Josh Schuyler, who at the time was not the head coach. He committed to playing for Bob Huggins. We all know what happened there. This guy has had 3 head coaches in the span of 5 or 6 months. For a kid that was already dealing with mental health issues, he's been dealt a tough card here at WVU with the Huggins situation happening, and that doesn't help his mental situation at all, having to go from everything that he's dealt with, coming to West Virginia, feeling like he's got some stability, he's got a new coach, a new support system, and then all that for just to be yanked out from underneath him. But he does have Josh Allen, someone that has grown up on a reservation, someone that he can relate to, someone that he can really go to for anything. And Josh has been in his corner since day one. What else does the NCAA need? Why is there a decision that why can't the NCAA grant this kid eligibility? You have so many situations where coaches and players are being either illegally recruited or are illegally recruiting players, and those parties just get a slap on the wrist, a couple game suspension, and they're back at it. And that brings me to a whole other situation. Now, I don't want to go too far off here, but again, how is Kirk Risa getting suspended 9 games for something that took place at Arizona? But Arizona doesn't have any punishment. What is the NCAA? What does the NCAA have against West Virginia? He received impermissible benefits while at Arizona, but West Virginia is being punished for something he did at another school, or was punished. Suspension's over. So I don't want to go too far into that again, but it just seems like there's something that the NCAA has against West Virginia right now. Typically, I wouldn't say stuff like that. That sounds like fan talk. That just sounds like, oh, just the old everyone's against us mentality. But it truly does feel like that. I don't understand. I don't know what the NCAA has in its mind in regards to this situation. I really don't, because again, you have all the evidence. You have RaeQuan coming out, posting that video with his message to the NCAA, perfectly explaining his entire story, not only to them, but everybody out there, so they can understand, look, this is a true and legit situation. But we're going to penalize the kid for finding a stable and secure home? Really? Come on. You got, I mean, NCAA, I know you set the bar very, very, very low. But man, I really don't know what to say about this. I'm really at a loss for words. I don't know if there was any hope for the NCAA to ever figure things out, that's all gone away. I don't understand where this is going. I don't understand why a decision has not been reversed. You've had multiple chances to make the right decision, and they haven't. It's not like granting RaeQuan Battle his eligibility is going to make West Virginia national championship contender. It's going to be some unfair advantage. Okay, this is a team now that has had a 7-man rotation, really a 6-man rotation for the better part of 8 or 9 games. They just got a cook back, and he's still extremely limited. I'm not saying that they need to make that decision based off of West Virginia's situation and its roster. But, I mean, come on. The thing that the NCAA has struggled with from the very beginning has been consistency. You can't grant a kid a waiver here and not grant him one there. You can't deny this kid a waiver and then have a different decision elsewhere. They constantly move the goalposts. For West Virginia to get RaeQuan Battle eligible, they've had to bend over backwards, do everything in between here in the sun, and yet they did it all in a timely manner. Everything the NCAA requested from West Virginia was back to the NCAA before the NCAA even had a chance to ask its next question. West Virginia was a step or two ahead in this entire process. But the NCAA just moseys around, plays this thing out, lets it go for 2 or 3 weeks before making a decision. Then comes the appeal right after the denial, moseying around again. You talk about wanting the best for student athletes and their mental health, yet this is what's happening. This is what's playing out. Fairly contradicting, don't you think? So I don't really have a whole lot more to say about this because I think it's just total BS in my opinion. And I think everyone watching this can probably share that same feeling. But like I said, back to what I stated at the beginning of this video, anytime the NCAA gets dragged or has been threatened to be dragged into the court system, they usually wave the white flag. Usually. So I think West Virginia's got a chance here to get RaeQuan Battle on the court this season. We'll find out. Hopefully this thing doesn't take too long. And Battle's back out there playing for the Mountaineers and hoping to get them into the win column a little bit more often and maybe get themselves into the NCAA tournament. A lot of work to do still. West Virginia not playing again until Saturday. They take on UMass in the Basketball Hall of Fame Classic up there in Springfield, Massachusetts. So we'll have that coverage for you. And we'll be back tomorrow morning for a new episode of Between Years. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Mountaineers Now and follow us on X at the same handle. Take care, everybody.